Can anyone guess this movie for me? Perfect, that's right. The movie is Sholay. How about this? Perfect. This movie is Hera Fairy. Now look at the screen. Those are the original posters of the movie, and these are the posters which are known as minimalist posters. I want you to ponder upon the question, were the extra content written over there really necessary for you to understand which movie was it? Wasn't the posters over here enough to let you know the content? That is minimalism. Minimalism as a concept has a lot of wrong notions attached, especially in a country like India, which thrives on extravagance. As a matter of fact, when I told my mother that I want to pursue this lifestyle called as minimalism, she was pretty sure that I'll land up on the ghats of Banaras dressed like a sadhu. On the other hand, when I told my friends that I want to pursue something called minimalism, the questions that they asked me range from, do you need money? Will you be living on streets? And the last question, and the most interesting, are you too drunk? That all is not minimalism. So, what is minimalism? Minimalism at its crux involves reassessment of priorities in our life. Which ideas are important to you? What activities are important to you? What things are important to you? What people are important to you? That is what minimalism is at its very crux. Why do we need a concept like minimalism in India? I'm going to give you two stark realities of current India. One, that I have grown up with, and second, that our generation is facing right now. As the first reality, I want to talk about growing up in a middle class family. I grew up in a typical middle class family where my parents, my relatives, every single person, every single elder in my family was busy in impressing other people. They were buying new stuff to impress other people. They were throwing parties to impress other people. In fact, they were even marrying their daughters and sons to impress other people. What is the direct impact of such a thought process on our generation? And I want you to think about it. We all have grown up with that thought process. It has been ingrained in our thought process that in order to succeed in life, you have to spend. In order to succeed in life, in order to have that status in life, you got to spend more money. What is the direct impact of such a thought process? The impact is this. Recently, a BuzzFeed article got viral. So anyone who is active on social media might have read this article. The article's title was The Urban Poor. You haven't noticed. The millennials who are broke, hungry, but always on trend. The article in depth talked about a lot of examples. The first example that the article gave was about a guy who starved from morning till evening just so that he can save the money to go in Uber and have a Starbucks coffee. The article talked about a girl who thought it is so important to have a car that she took a loan and then she didn't have money to pay for rent. So she stays in the car on the streets of Bombay. Now, it is hilarious, right? It sounds hilarious, but that is the reality of our generation. We have been grown with the chains of consumerism. We are bounded by knowing that in order to succeed in life, you have to spend, you have to live beyond your means. You have to go out and splurge as much as you can. So people around you, people in the society know that you are worthy. The most blatant criticism that I have heard of this lifestyle is that it is an excuse, and those are the exact words. This is an excuse used by people who are not rich to not work hard. And that is the most ridiculous thing I have heard in my life. And I have heard Donald Trump talking on stage. The people on the screen are some of the most richest and powerful people of the world. They all are different in their own ways, tied by just one common thread. The common thread is a minimalist lifestyle. Right from living in a house that is 50 years old, to driving a car that is 2 decades old, to wearing same set of clothes every day, to donating your major fortune to a worthy cause, and then living a simple lifestyle. The question that I want to give it to you over here is, if the world's richest people are following this lifestyle, what is it about this lifestyle? Can't they afford bigger houses? Can't they throw parties and events every other night? Can't they drive the most expensive car of the world? So why are these people following a minimalist lifestyle? The answer to that question, the logic in that lies in a theory which is called as the theory of decision fatigue. Psychologists say that according to this theory, if you are able to pare down your decisions, and listen to this very carefully, if you are able to reduce the amount of decisions that you are taking in your life, you can actually focus more on the decisions that truly matter. So instead of us deciding which coffee we should drink at Starbucks, we can probably invest the same amount of energy in deciding what we want to do in our life in a better way. We can decide which careers we want to pursue. We can describe where we want to go, where we want to head with our lives. I want to share my story of how I started on this journey of minimalism. This is the screen which my laptop had towards the end of 2013. It was way past midnight, and I was busy searching signs of depression, as Sir rightly pointed out, on Google. This stage in my life was a follow up to me deciding to drop out of company secretary course, which in fact came after 2 months before my decision to quit chartered accountancy course. So if you think about the intensity of my life, I had just quit two most prestigious courses of India in a span of 3 months. And this is where it landed me, right? So for the next few days, I did what any millennial, any person who has grown up in the internet generation will do. I went to Google and I typed what to do with my life, right? And I typed what to do with my life. And it was during one of these searches, right? And although they might seem futile to you right now, but in one of these searches, I landed up on a concept which is called as minimalism. Let's talk about how I invented myself into the minimalism. I was going through articles over articles on minimalism. I eventually landed up upon the concept which is called as packing party. Now, what is a packing party? In a packing party, you assume that you are moving out of your home. You take out all your stuff, you take out every single thing you own, and you pack them in big moving boxes. I just did that. I took every single possession of mine, I took every single cloth of mine, and I packed it in 5 boxes. 5 big moving boxes. The next step was to take out one item at a time as and when I need it. So, as an instance, when I woke up the next morning, I took out my toothpaste, toothbrush, all those items. So, basically, I can go to college. I did this thing for an entire month. After the end of month, something happened which I didn't expect myself. I was surprised. I still had 3 full boxes packed. I didn't open it at all. So for a period of 1 month, I had just used two boxes. Three boxes that were cluttering my life. Three boxes that were in excess in my life. Think about it. If you are able to remove everything that is cluttering your life, how freeing would it feel? The next thing, and I don't know why even I have to put it on screen, but the next thing which I did was to not buy stuff that I cannot afford. For one entire month, I was just living on essentials. I was not buying new stuff. It is very important for our generation to distinguish between needs and wants. Those are two different concepts and not one concept. I am wearing this black kurta today. Somewhere in this world, in this city, someone might be wearing a branded black kurta with a logo here. I don't have a logo. And that is the only difference. I see parents giving their child Tommy Hilfiger t-shirts. That's a child. He doesn't understand Tommy Hilfiger. The idea is, what are we teaching our next generation? What are we teaching our own generation? Aren't we tying our entire self-worth to the things we own? And I want you to think about this concept. Are we tying who we are to the stuff we own? Am I no one if I don't have an iPhone? Am I no one if I don't wear branded clothes? If I'm not loaded with branded stuff? I want you to think on this concept. Are we tying our self-worth to stuff we own? For people who have seen Fight Club, there's a very famous dialogue in Fight Club. Things you own end up owning you. Eventually, after I was done with that, I decided that I want to pursue the field of writing. So I started with the blog called thatindianminimalist.com, where I was documenting my entire journey through this phase. After that, I started with a page called the Honest Musings, in where I write pieces of prose and poetry. Currently, I'm working on my first debut book of poetry and prose, along with working as a writer at a content house. Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because I want you to understand that everything I did, right from that night where I was searching signs of depression on Google to this where I'm standing on the stage talking about this concept, happened because I decided to clean my cupboard. This entire journey I've had a lot of failures. I've bought things on impulse, I've spent mindlessly, and I've done all those stuff. And I want you to understand that it's okay to do that. As long as you are still consciously focused on decluttering, as long as you are still constantly focused on removing the excess from your life. Is it an easy lifestyle to follow? Definitely not. Is it worth it? Definitely yes. What matters to each one of us will be decided by us. All minimalism can do is act as a catalyst to bring out the best from you. There are no guidelines, there are no rule books. All minimalism does is gives you an assurance of a simple life. Not an easy life, but a simple life. All minimalism does is it lets you create space in your life so that you can fill it with things that are truly valuable to you, with ideas that matter to you, with possessions that are important to you, with people you love. All minimalism does is it takes away the excess from your life so that you can focus on other things, so that you can focus on everything that remains. Thank you so much.